Well, this month here on WOW, our industry insider interview is with Ed Evans, who's with me here, the president of Stelera Wireless. And Ed, we're in Floresville, Texas.
We are.
What is Stelera Wireless doing in Floresville? What are we doing in Floresville?
Well, Floresville is where we elected to start our company, if you will. And we had a concept about 2 years ago, and that was wireless technology is advancing at such a pace that we believe there's plenty of guys in the world out there doing voice today, but there was the opportunity to go in and provide high-speed broadband internet access into underserved markets around the country. So we chose Floresville, Texas as where our test bed was going to be. And lo and behold, about 7 months ago, we turned up the first sites here in Floresville, Texas, and began selling high-speed internet access, something that was very new to the town. Nobody here had that previously. There was dial-up, there was a little bit of point-to-point microwave type stuff that was out there, but there really wasn't a simple, reliable, affordable way to get to the internet. We thought we could provide that, and I'm very pleased to tell you that we're 8 months into it right now, and things are exceeding all of our expectations, and we're now really replicating the model around the country right now. As we own 45 licenses, we're currently building out 55 cities and have plans to build out another 200 cities here in the next 12 months.
So you saw an opportunity of high-speed wireless broadband in small communities like Floresville. What do you think the impact is on a community like this?
Well, it's a huge impact because, we've all heard this somewhat sometimes overused term, digital divide, but when you get out here and you actually see these markets, you really have an appreciation for what's going on. These guys don't have access to things that we take for granted every day, things like getting sports and weather updates, things like being able to purchase things. If you've got a farm implement or a ranch implement, today you're going to get in your car, your truck, and you're going to drive 50 miles somewhere in order to buy it and then drive back. And given the energy crisis that's going on currently and everything that goes around that, imagine how it changes your life if you can simply get online, find a supplier for that, order it, and have it shipped to you and delivered the next day. You're saving time, you're saving resources, and you really are bridging that divide that exists. You look at the school kids that are out here and their ability to learn. They've not had access to many of the things that urban kids have today and suburban kids have today. So now suddenly you just open the doors to things that these people have never been able to experience before, and it's a pretty exciting time for them.
In terms of the competitive environment of the industry and finding that niche, and filling that, I mean, your thoughts about making way for a smaller provider, a smaller service provider, if you will, in a world where there are a lot of other big competitors. I'd like to talk about that, about taking them on in some respects, if you will.
And the way we looked at that was, again, we bought 45 licenses of AWS Spectrum and said in every city around the country, the U.S. cellular wireless market, not even cellular, just wireless market, is by far the most competitive of anywhere in the world right now. So the last thing this world needs is another voice wireless guy going out in these markets. So what could we do with this spectrum and this technology that's unique? And we said, well, this is easy. Where we're underserved is in internet service, so let's go provide that. Now, what we didn't know is nobody had gone and built a pure play wireless broadband network before, so there were a lot of challenges we had to overcome. How are you going to get the backhaul back? Everybody understands the cell site to the modem, and they kind of get that technology. But the real challenge, frankly, is getting it from that cell site that's located in rural America and getting that back to a large city and delivering it to an internet pop somewhere. So we had to think through all of those things and build a true flat IP-based network in order to make it cost-effective. So we've spent a lot of time, a lot of energy doing that, and we've successfully done it here, and we think we can successfully replicate that around the country.
And 45 markets you talked about, or 45 licenses, yeah. And if all goes well, I assume that the sky is the limit as to where you just might want to offer service.
Absolutely. If you go back and go back to the turn of the 19th century when the government decided everybody should have a telephone. Well, what did we do? The government went out and provided capital so that hundreds of small mom and pop companies around the country could go build telephone networks. They did. They built them. We provided universal service funding in high cost areas to make sure we could do that. And over time, what happened? We developed the most advanced telephone network in the world. As things grew and models were successful, they consolidated into larger and larger companies. Fast forward to the 1980s when the government auctioned off and lotteried off licenses for cellular telephone service. Same thing. Thousands of little mom and pop guys around the country all started little cellular telephone businesses. We grew those, we merged them and consolidated as the market would have you do, and we've turned into the most competitive wireless marketplace in the world as well. So we have a proven model. We think the same thing will work here. It's not only myself, but it's guys like me. I think it's going to be 700, 1,000 guys like me that get together and start building these models around the country. We learn from all of them. Some models will be more successful than others. And over time, we'll consolidate and we'll grow and we'll get scale and we'll provide exactly what everybody's looking for, and that is to bridge that digital divide.
Are you here because of regulation or maybe the lack of it? And I don't mean like the total lack, but maybe light regulation that's allowed you to compete or draw up your business model as you see fit?
Regulation and the federal government have definitely played a part in us being here. We are partaking in the Department of Agriculture's broadband loan program that's out there, where there are low-cost, cost-of-money loans that can be used for CapEx to build these. And we are participating in that, our first loan for $35 million to help us build out the capital that's here. In today's credit market, as we all know, capital is very scarce, so there's not a lot of resources to go do that. If it were not for that program, we would not be able to grow that we are right now. Now, you take the regulated side out and you look at the unregulated side. Being able to make our own decisions about what to do with the spectrum, not being locked into, we had to be a voice provider, we had to provide E911 services, we had to, all these other things that go with being a traditional voice player, allowed us the freedom to innovate, and that's what this is about. We have a real problem with the digital divide right now and getting out into small markets, and if you don't let these people innovate, it's not going to happen. I think the concept of stepping back and allowing one giant company to have access to very cheap spectrum to go out and allegedly build this nationwide broadband footprint all the way across the United States is a fallacy. It's just not going to happen. Nobody can get the capital to do that. Nobody has the resources to do that. The only way this is going to work is to take the model that's worked before, either the rural telephone model or the wireless model traditionally, have a lot of people get into this, give them all access to unregulated spectrum, let them innovate, which is what this country has been so good at doing, and let us grow this and prove to the world that we can make this work. We're doing it here in one very small corner of the United States. A lot of guys are doing what we're doing around this country, and we can make it work.